Good afternoon, good evening, folks of the Western Slope. I'm your meteorologist, Baird Vinson, taking a look at what we got going on right now. That storm is starting to make its way up north, but we're still seeing some of those lightning strikes in the distance at those temperatures at 69 degrees with that 7-mile-an-hour wind right now. But this is the reason why we had those storms. We had that southerly flow today that brought up that moisture as we tapped into that moisture from this monsoonal season that really caused us to have those ingredients for storm development. With that orographic lift that we saw throughout the afternoon today really caused all of that precipitation to just start piling up in the upper atmosphere. All that energy is going to started to accumulate it and then eventually created those storms that we saw. Now, most of those storms have started making their way up north. Garfield County's getting the bulk of it right now. We're clearing up on the western slope, but we're still left with a few little bit of gusty winds. Now, we are still under this areal flood advisory up until about 10:30, so this will expire in just a little bit. This is going to be from mainly just runoff water, maybe storm drains clogging up and kind of flooding those streets. So if you're going to be out and about tonight, definitely drive slow because those roads are going to be pretty slick. Those rain totals, we got about an inch here in Grand Junction from this storm. Compared to yesterday, we had that storm really just get trapped in the valley, and that's why we just got all of that rain get dumped on us last night. But today that's going to be moving a little bit further north, not really sitting in the valley as we saw yesterday, as we have this southerly flow. This is going to be continuing into the weekend, but we're going to be drying up starting out on Saturday. So we're not going to see as much potential for those showers. Most of those are going to be out to the west coast over Nevada and California, as they have that low pressure system right off of the coast of California, kind of bringing in that flow for that storm development as they are dragging that moisture off of the Pacific Ocean to tap into for storm development. Now, this is going to be the reason why we saw those storms, this monsoonal outlook. So this monsoonal moisture, it is monsoonal season. This is what we have. So this monsoonal moisture is being moved into the region with that southerly flow to tap into for that increased cloud development and storms. And then as that high pressure system continued to make its way further east, we're going to get more of that southerly flow, and that moisture is going to be moved even further north. So they could see even more potential up even in Wyoming. Now, taking a look at those humidity values, we're at 73%. We were at lower humidity values today, and as we saw those raindrops start falling, they started to evaporate, and as they evaporated, all that evaporated energy turned into those winds. Those gusty outflow winds got up to about 51 miles an hour here in Grand Junction today, 22 in Delta, 37 in Rifle, but I'm honestly expecting these winds to pick up in Rifle and Glenwood Springs as that storm system makes its way north into Garfield County. For that forecast, though, this is going to be on that surface. We have that high pressure down over Colorado with that low pressure down by the Baja Peninsula, bringing in that moisture to tap into for that cloud development and overall storm coverage. So this is going to bring in that potential. This is why we saw those storms today, but luckily we're going to be drying up as we go into tomorrow. The storm's continuing to make its way up north into Garfield County, approaching Rifle, making its way towards Meeker, and then Craig could see that potential. But most of this is going to start dissipating out, but this was earlier around 9 o'clock today. Tons of lightning strikes in the region. We're still having that potential for fire weather. Don't think that since we have all of those humidity values increased and increased rain potential that we are not going to have potential for fires from these lightning strikes, because we are going to be drying up as we go into this weekend. Like I said earlier, that Western Slope radar has us pretty much clear as we are looking over the Grand Valley right now. Most of those storms up into Garfield County, and then extended up until later on today. They're going to keep continuing north. Now, tonight, we're going to be clearing up a little bit, and then as far as tomorrow, not necessarily going to see that potential that we saw today for those storms, mostly around those later afternoon hours, approaching that nighttime around 8 p.m., getting into 10 p.m. tomorrow night could be that potential for just a little bit of just super scattered showers, so not much as that potential we saw today. Now, for those current winds, we've calmed down a little bit here in the valley, but we're expected to see those increase as that storm makes its way up north into Garfield County. For that 7-day, though, we're going to be warming up as we approach this weekend, and then we have that potential for some storms as we go into early next week. Montrose slightly cooler, remaining in the 80s, and then warming up into the 90s early next week. They haven't seen those 90-degree highs in quite a minute, so lots to look forward to as we approach next week with those temperatures increasing, but we're going to see a little bit of clouds making their